So if you have not had a chance to watch my video, the timeless wrap and shirt dress video, I'll put that link in the description box below, and you can go over and watch that video. I talk in great detail about the history of wrap and shirt dresses, how we have come to have wrap dresses, the designers behind the inspiration, and how wrap dresses and shirt dresses have evolved over the last few decades. So it's a really fun video. I was really surprised to see so many comments and how people really enjoyed the history of that. And so if you are interested in learning more about the history of certain types of silhouettes or garments or patterns, let me know in the comment section below and throw out some ideas for me, and I can get something going on the channel for that. Maybe a series on some of these things. So in my pattern stash, I have several wrap dress patterns. So these are just a few. I didn't want to pull all of them out. I have quite a few. After I made that video, I went back to look at some of the wrap dresses that I have, and I was really amazed about how many I have collected over the years. This first pattern is the Saint Germain wrap dress pattern. It's a women's pattern that comes in sizes 0 to 20, and it includes the cup sizes here. And the pattern pieces for each individual cup size, which is really fun. Now you have two different sleeve options. You have this nice wide flutter sleeve, and then you have this slimmer, almost like a 3/4 length sleeve, but not quite. It's a shorter sleeve that have a little bit of ruching on the side. It looks like you're going to be sewing some elastic there to kind of ruche up the side of that there. But for the body of the garment, you have a midriff waistband, and then you have buttons on the side as your closure for your wrap. So really fun. I love this pattern, and I am so surprised that I have not made it yet. The difficulty level is a 2, so advanced beginners can sew this pattern. And yeah, it calls for fabrics like your satins, your woven fabrics. So this isn't for your stretchy fabrics. This is definitely for your stable, non-stretch woven fabrics. So I really like that one, and I'm glad I have that in my stash. I did pick up this Butterick pattern. It's the Butterick B6926. It came out in Butterick's earlier release of, I believe it was the summer or the late spring. It has a flounce around the neckline. So remember when I talked about flirty wrap dresses in my previous video, we talked about the different silhouettes of wrap dresses. Now this would definitely fit in that flirty category because it has the nice feminine flounce around the neckline, the bow detail around the waistline, and then you also have a flounce at the hem, which is the classic flirty wrap dress. So I have the size 12 to 20, but you can get this in a plus size as well as smaller sizes as well. Your 6 to 12, I believe it is. So really nice pattern there. Now this pattern, I had recently took this out of my stash after I was looking at all of Diane von Furstenberg's classic wrap dresses. I thought, I am really in this wrap dress fever mode right now. And so I really want to make a recreation of one of her designs. And so I took this wrap dress out. Now I didn't see any of her designs that have like a lot of buttons. I did see a few that have buttons around the neckline, but not like this, not like, you know, buttons down the side of the bodice as well as the skirt. So I did take this one out though, because I thought I was going to use a mood fabric for a collaboration that I'm doing with the lovely Alex of A Mason Lifestyle, where we purchased the same fabric from Mood, and we decided we were going to make a collaboration. And both of us have been having such a difficult time because the fabric, the width of the selvage is just ridiculous. It's something like 3 inches wide or something like that for that. And then we found that instead of it being 56 inches wide, as the website stated, it was actually 46 or 47 inches wide. And so, as you can imagine, with any type of wrap dress or any kind of A-line flared dress, it's going to be almost impossible, even when it's not folded or double folded or whatever. Even for a single layer, it's really difficult because the width isn't there. So anyway, I was really disappointed by that fabric, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I do my pattern review of the dress that I end up making with that fabric, and when I do the collaboration. That'll be coming up pretty soon, so I'll talk more about that. But more about this dress, I did pick that up for this particular project in mind, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this pattern unless I actually reshape the lower edge of the hem here and bring in that A-line skirt a little bit, which is really sad because it's not that much of an A-line to begin with. But size 14 to 22 is the size that I selected. I believe there are no plus sizes for this, but you do get a regular size for 6 to, I think it's 6 to 16 or 6 to 18 or something like that. And then this envelope, the 14 to 22. So again, you have the two different variations here. It's the sleeveless and the sleeved option. Something that's really interesting about this particular wrap dress, it actually calls for an invisible zipper. So I have no idea why. I did cut the pattern pieces out, and it is a true wrap. It's not a faux wrap. You are wrapping the bodice and the skirt. So I don't know why it has an invisible zipper in the back. I have no clue. But yeah, interesting wrap dress pattern. This one came out in the latest Butterick release, and this is a 1970s vintage pattern. And it just automatically reminded me of Diane von Furstenberg's collection. Now, this one you do have gathering on the shoulder and elastic, I believe, at the lower edge of the sleeve, which is not something that Diane is famous for. However, this would be a great alternative to make, you know, some type of retro. And you don't have to choose, your fabric doesn't have to be retro, right? You can definitely choose a fabric that is more trendy if you want to do that. But I thought that this was also a really nice choice, and I have that in my stash. I also have this Vogue pattern. This is the Very Easy Vogue. I purchased the size 16 to 22. Now, this is going to be right in line with Diane von Furstenberg's, you know, her collection of wrap dresses that she has made in the past, especially View B with the collar, because she's notorious for making classic wrap dresses in that regard with the collar here. Now, this one is made for your knit fabrics. And here is the line art and how the line art looks. So yeah, I have that one in my collection. I also have this one. Now, I actually went out and picked this one up with the Vogue sale this past weekend. I'm just really, really fascinated by her, and I just wanted to go out and pick this up. And so this one's actually very similar to her pattern as well. It has that nice little collar. It looks almost identical to this one, but if you look closely for View A, there's a band on the neckline there, which is really nice. And then you also have a band on View B with the collar. Whereas with this one, it doesn't have that band. But in this pattern, you do get a neck band, which I think is really nice. So I think that's really nice. And you have the two different sleeve lengths there. This is the Sew Over It Eve dress that I was talking to you guys about in the last video. I do have it. I tried to use this pattern for that mood fabric that I was telling you about. And this pattern is even wider than the then this butterick pattern here. Now with the butterick pattern, like I said, I have the option, I can come in just a little bit, and I think maybe about an inch, inch and a half, I can come in down at the lower hem and still be able to use the fabric that I'm talking about. But with this one, there's no possible way at all. I mean, especially for this view here, because it has this really nice uneven hem. But the pattern pieces for this is just very, very wide, very, very wide. It calls for, so the fabrics, they have it back here in meters, 1.4 meters wide, and they tell you how much fabric you need for that. But as you can tell, they only have that 1.4 meters wide. They don't have anything lower than that. And I believe the 1.4 is equivalent to our 60 inches in width or higher. So again, can't use that mood fabric for that. This one I've had in my stash forever, and I have not pulled this out. Now this one, I like this one because, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's still in print. But I like this because you have 6 different takes on a wrap dress, and every last one of them are different in some way. Like this one here, view B, you have a forward shoulder with gathering on the neckline, and also, or I'm sorry, underneath that little neck here. And then on the neckline, you have a neck band. For this one, it's just a bodice that don't have this forward shoulder, but you have the collar, and all of them have full skirts. And then this one, you have a flutter sleeve and a collar. And for this one, again, you have a flutter sleeve, but the shoulders are pulled forward. So it's another variation of this one, but you just have a different sleeve. This one, you have a straight sleeve with your neck band. And then this one, you have your straight sleeve with your collar, but there are no neckband pieces or anything like that. So many different options here to choose from. I think this is definitely the pattern to go with. Now, I've never sewn this pattern, so I don't know if it's true to size. I don't know if there are any errors or mistakes, but from the looks of it, it looks like it offers pretty much every wrap dress, almost every wrap dress that you could hope for, except for, you know, the flirty flounce around the neckline and flounce on the hem. But yeah, you can definitely get a great, you know, a few good wrap dresses out of that pattern. And then lastly, I have this pattern in my stash. It's the Butterick B6928. Now this is for your wovens. Let's see. I think this one's for your non-stretch wovens as well. It's calling for challis, linen, crepe de chine, cotton blends. Oh, and a matted jersey type fabric as well. So, but mostly your non-stretch wovens. And this one also calls for a non-stretch woven as well. Collar around the neckline, gathered sleeve head, and you do have that long sleeve with the cuff at the end for view A, and for view B, you have your puff sleeve with the cuff at the end, and you still have that collar there. So you do have different skirt lengths as well. This is your knee length, and this is your little longer, kind of almost like a midi length, but not quite. Yeah, really great options there. And you have your full skirt here, A-line skirt. I got the size 18 to 26, but you can get sizes all the way down from 8 to, 18 or 8 to 16 or whatever. So yeah, those are my wrap dress collections here. Now, I also mentioned in a previous video that I had this pattern. This is another pattern that it has a really wide skirt. So you definitely will need a wider fabric than 45 inches. 45 inches is not going to cut it. The skirts are really wide on these here. And then I told you all that I didn't have this pattern any longer, but I do. I went in my stash and it turns out I purchased another copy. The McCall's M6959. I have the size 14 to 22. I made this. I have a review on the channel of it, and I'm glad I actually have another copy of this. So I thought that I tossed it and I got rid. I thought that I gotten rid of it, but it turns out I did not. You have different options here with your necklines and things of that nature as well. So anyway, those are my wrap dress collections. I am excited to make a series of wrap dresses celebrating the 50th anniversary of wrap dresses. You'll see that on the channel, hopefully, if I can get a series going here with a wrap dress series. If you know of any wrap dress patterns that will be worth putting into this series, even if I don't make them, but to just talk about them and maybe talk about the history of that particular pattern or that type of style, let me know in the comment section below. I had fun with the wrap dress, talking about the history of the wrap dress, and maybe I can even get a series of sewing shirt dresses as well. Again, let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on that, and then also some pattern names and numbers that might be good to include into this series. All right, everyone, thank you all for stopping by and tuning into today's video. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you all have a happy and blessed sewing week, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye.